So today at the farm, I'm getting the veg area ready for. I'm going to shut it down now for the winter. It's all empty, everything's out. Today's job, I'm going to get some ash in there. This is ash out the wood burner, and I've got loads of eggshells here. I'm going to sprinkle the eggshells around where we grow the tomatoes, just for a little bit of extra calcium. Had a little bit of blossom end rot early part of this year. So a big part of that is, from what I believe, calcium. So I'm going to get that sprinkled across there today. I'm going to start rotivating, get it all turned over. Once it's all been sort of rotivated, probably tomorrow, I'll put 10 trailer loads of manure on top, our own muck from the horses, and then I'll leave that all winter to settle in, and then springtime I'll rotivate it again, ready for sort of sowing next year. So that's what we're doing today, just trying to make the soil better every year. This year was our first year. We did fertilise, but I'm going to try and do it every year just to sort of liven the ground up a little bit. When you're putting ash on, you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to use ash that's from, if you've been burning painted wood, plastics or anything like that, don't use it. Just a good Peshka wood burning wood is great, and you want to use it roughly at about a rate of 70 grams a square metre. So you don't want to go too mad with it. I can get bucket loads of this stuff, but it doesn't all go on the veg area. I just sort of sprinkle it on, and then I'll turn it in the ground and let that settle over the winter. So I've just given it a go over with the rotivator. So we've got all these leaves. I had a pear tree there, it was massive. I cut that down a couple of days ago. That hasn't been touched for at least 10 years, so hopefully, and we had so many pears, so I've trimmed that down now. That will create less shade on this area ready for next year. So I've given this a nice run over. It's a different kind of rotivator that someone's lent me for now, and I'm quite impressed with how fine it takes it. So I'm just trying to figure out what I invest in. I've done a costing. If I buy a big petrol rotivator, offsetting it against having somebody come in and paying them 40 lev a year to do this, it will take me 18 1.8 years for it to pay for itself. So I don't think I'm going to bother. This little one has actually done a pretty good job. So I'm quite happy with that. That's turned all the ash in, all the eggshells. This section down here will be where we do the tomatoes. So I'm quite happy with that. It's also turned a lot of these leaves in, which are great. So next job is I'm going to cover this with manure. I'm going to leave that side over there because I've got some potatoes in over there. So I'm going to cover this now with manure, and I shall leave it all winter until spring, where I will then rotivate it again, ready for sowing. This year was my first year of growing. I think my veg patch for two of us is probably too big. It's about 130 square metres. Doesn't really need to be as big as that, but it's what I've got now. It's what this, you know, the land's been worked last year and now this year. So I'll probably leave it as it is, just find some other things to put in. But I'm definitely going to change the way I do it next year. Not going to have all rows like I did this year. I'm going to follow my neighbours, to be honest, because the Bulgarians have definitely cracked growing veg after decades of doing it. So I'm going to follow their way next year. I've got a few bits on the go in the polytunnel. I've got 25 garlic in there, which have come up well. They're about a foot high now. They should be ready to pull in about May. Forever learning. Wasn't a great year this year. That's not just for me. With the summer we had, I mean, there was cracks in the ground big enough to get your fist in. So a lot to learn. But next year I'm going to do it very, very differently, and hope to have more enjoyment than non-enjoyment, because this year was probably 60% cheesed off of it, and the rest of the time I was quite happy. But I need to change that ratio. Still trying to figure it all out, but I'm not going to give up after the first year, even though I've wanted to. Took another tree down yesterday. I've just got a load of logs out of it. There's a tree here. It's been here for the 5 years we've had the house, 6 years we've had the house, and many years before that. Couldn't figure out why it's died, and it's split all the way down. So the whole thing died. It's quite a big tree as well, so I thought I'd better take that down before it falls down on the electric fence, and even worse, on one of the horses. So that's now gone, and again it should add a little bit more light, a little bit more sunlight to the veg area. But I have been told by locals that the last 2 years have been freak years with regards the small amount of water that we've had. Rain, hardly anything. My neighbour informs me that it's normally a lot more frequent rain. So we'll see. I am going to get it prepped all ready, and I'm going to try again next year, and like I say, do things very, very differently. So that's it from sunny Bulgaria.